Hi, this is Paul Ransley from singleinvoicefinance.com and FIFO Capital, where we help businesses pay their bills. I'd like to introduce you to Susan Milicevic from Aspire Consulting, who explains how success can kill your business. Susan, how is it that more sales, greater revenue and faster growth can actually harm a business?
Yeah, it's a really good point, and one that I get asked a lot by clients. You know, we're so busy, things are going great, but there's still no money in the bank account, and it's often a really dangerous time for businesses, and it's a concept that people don't understand purely because they don't understand the whole concept of cash flow, and increasing sales, increasing growth all comes with a cost purely because of the investment that you need to make to achieve that. And often where it comes unstuck is where there's a time lag between that investment and those extra costs and the sales that come from that. So it's a really dangerous time for businesses, and like I said, it comes back to there not being a great understanding on how cash actually flows in a business.
And this is called the cash flow cycle. Is this what
Exactly.
they mean when they say this cash flow cycle?
Exactly. I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to speak at the National Small Business Summit a few years ago, and there was a whole workshop on cash flow, and I was given the opportunity to speak about one thing. I had about a minute to get a message across to 400 participants, and I chose to talk about the cash flow cycle. And a lot of businesses don't even know their cash flow cycle. I get asked a lot of the time, what is a cash flow cycle, and how does it apply to small businesses? Well, cash flow cycles are different for every type of business. If I could give you a worked example, talking about that retail business, obviously you've got cash that you need to then invest into inventory or stock. Okay, then you make the sale, which then converts to cash. Okay, so what I often say to my clients is you need to understand that cash flow cycle, draw it out, map it out, but then taking it a step further, you also need to put days to it. For example, how long does it take for your stock to convert into sales? And how long does it take for your sales to convert into cash? So until you really understand that cycle and can put a time frame around it, I read recently that the average cash flow cycle spans over about 180 days. So it can take you 180 days to get cash from stock into money in your bank account.
So to get your money back and make a profit.
Exactly right. So, you know, there's that time lag. That goes back to that first question. You could imagine then if you've invested a significant amount in stock, you've still got to pay your wages, you've still got to pay your overheads, your rent and all that type of thing.
So what do you do if you're a services business that doesn't actually buy inventory?
Yep.
How do you determine your cash flow cycle?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and that purely comes back to, okay, these are the elements of my cash flow cycle. Once you understand those, you can positively influence them. For example, a service-based business has the need to fund wages and the like in order to generate the sale, send out an invoice, and then obviously put terms on that invoice, and the cash will come in that way. So the way you can positively influence that is making sure you're efficient, obviously, during that time. So you're putting in as little as you need to get a sale, i.e. making sure staff are efficient, making sure you've negotiated the best overhead rates with your suppliers, your landlord, all those types of things. And then secondly is collecting the money, getting the money in as quickly as possible. A lot of the time people purely focus on that, or they don't focus on that. So just making that one change in your business can have such a significant effect. The amount of clients I get in who want to have a look at their cash flow and ways to improve things, it's often as easy as saying, well, what kind of collection procedures do you have in place to make sure that people are paying you in time? None really, or I might look at it every 6 weeks or so. Well, as soon as you tighten up on that collection procedure, that really assists. But obviously, times are tough. So people are looking for other options, single invoice financing, overdraft facilities and that type of thing. So there definitely are solutions out there, and it's just a matter of understanding that there's a problem at the outset and then putting a solution in place. And that's what we do as accountants. We can sit there and help you find solutions. So the point at which you need to consider cash flow is from day one, well before day one, well before the doors open, well before you're conducting any form of business, and that's usually at your business planning stage. So it's really, really important, and from what I see, a lot of startup businesses in particular fail to do that, and also people who are planning for growth fail to stop, because it's usually at the time that you're planning growth, things are going quite well. You've got cash in the bank, you're ready to make these decisions, but people often get relaxed at that time too, thinking, oh, there's cash here, we need to upgrade this system, yeah, let's just go and buy it outright or what have you. And then there's a lag between the time that's going to start increasing your sales and that type of thing. So it's just through all stages of your business, it's just so important to understand your cash flow cycle, make sure you've got processes in place, and things like cash flow plans, projections, and the like. It's important all the way through business.
If you'd like to contact Susan, call her at Aspire Consulting 3036 1600.